a principal, a student and her mother, a young boy and his soldier father, a furniture store owner who's also a proud grandfather. All residents of Northwest Alabama, each with a story to tell about what it means to be a child of Children's. It was back in the 1950s. Children's Hospital was located in another part of Birmingham's South Side. Samuel Brewer was 15 years old, and when he began having problems with his leg, his mother took him to a local doctor.
He x-rayed me, and then he sent me out of the room to talk to my mother. And next thing I knew, I came back into the room, and he told me they was going to send me to a Children's Hospital in Birmingham.
Samuel was diagnosed with a slipped epiphysis, a hip disorder that is common in adolescence. Soon he had the first of several surgeries.
If Children's Hospital had not been there for me and my family, I probably would have ended up in a wheelchair. My doctors had stressed this to me, and that's sort of gave me an incentive to want to go ahead and have the surgeries. And as a result of that, I was able to have a normal life, and I was able to go to college, and I was able to get my BS degree, my master's degree, and my AA certification. I was able to move on, become a principal, teacher, coach, and have impact on many lives. If I could say something to those nurses and orderlies and doctors, I would like to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. You had not been for you, then I would not have been successful in my career that I chose.
During the summer of 2006, Taylor Hendrix was on the swim team. She was spending almost every day at the pool when she began to have pain in her right arm.
We went to the doctor and we did some x-rays, and he just, after that, he talked to my mom, and then he told us we might want to go to Children's Hospital in Birmingham.
We went down just trying to find out what was wrong with Taylor's arm and what the mass was that was on her arm.
Doctors at Children's Hospital diagnosed Taylor with osteosarcoma, bone cancer. She would need surgery and almost a year of chemotherapy and other treatments.
When I heard cancer, it's probably the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. That doesn't happen to you. That happens to everybody else. That happens to somebody else's child, not your child. Probably the worst thing you could ever be told. And then I had to tell my family, and then I had to tell my child.
Surgery was scheduled, and doctors were able to save Taylor's arm. But Tammy feared Taylor might not survive the chemotherapy. Taylor was given a feeding tube, and gradually she began to get better.
This last year she went back to school, and she got to go the whole year, and she got to join back in with her friends and go to football games and do those things that kids her age should be doing without worrying about having cancer or being sick or low counts. All the nurses and the doctors and the staff of Children's Hospital, they became our family. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have my child here today. I would refer anybody to Children's Hospital and trust their child in those people's hands, because they are angels on earth.
Almost 4 years ago, Michael Thompson was diagnosed with lupus, a chronic inflammatory disease that can cause permanent damage to the kidneys. From the beginning, Children's was there for Michael and his family.
And I had to have a kidney biopsy to see how serious it was. Doctors knew what to do, and they gave me certain types of medicines to make me better. I'm not as tired as I used to be, and I feel better. And I did.
Michael's father, Jeff, was serving in Iraq when Michael became ill.
It was real hard. I mean, it was like, You know, your only child is sick and you halfway around the world doing a job, but then you prefer to be at home with him. It's just extremely tough. The team at Children's Hospital was there when I wasn't here, and they had took wonderful care of him and continue to do a fine, outstanding job. It made me feel good. It touched me a lot, knowing that there was somebody that had the expertise that could take care of him, loving him like I would love him if I could have been there.
Randy Brown has similar memories of the caring staff at Children's. Memories from half a century ago when he needed care for his badly burned hands.
When I was a small child, 9 months old, my mother says, I was just beginning to walk, and we had an old wood-burning stove, and she was making cornbread. And she dropped the door on the stove and took the cornbread out, and that moment of her turning around, putting it on the table, I walked over there and put my hands on the door. I actually did not go to the hospital until I was 5, and I found out later that was because I was going to have skin grafts. And being 9 months old, there was not enough skin to graft, so they had to wait until I got larger to do that. And before I went to Children's Hospital, all of my fingers had basically curled up, and the job was to try to straighten those out and give me a normal life.
Randy underwent a very difficult surgery and was hospitalized for 2 months. His mother had other children to care for and could not stay with him all the time.
The nurses, I get a little emotional with them. They were my mom and they were my mother. Very kind, just very, very kind. They wore dresses and the hats, you know, like the nurses wore back in the 50s, I guess. Very kind.
Before the surgery, Randy's hands were curled up so tightly he had almost no range of motion. Afterwards, he was able to put on a baseball glove and play catch. He even learned to play the guitar.
I have a furniture retail store. I've been in the furniture business 28 years and just enjoy it. My oldest girl worked with me. We hope to continue on as a family business, and it's been very successful and been very blessed. Basically, they changed my life. So without that, who knows what would have happened today. God has blessed me. I've got a successful business, 2 wonderful children, a grandchild. It probably changed my life.
This, then, is what it means to be a child of Children's. It means you once received a special kind of care at Children's Hospital, an experience you will remember for a lifetime. It means you have a story to tell. And like Samuel, Taylor, Michael, and Randy, a wonderful future ahead of you.